This is a time that you guys are going to get to see some fantastic comedians. Are you ready? Yeah. Great. So, please welcome to the stage, Romina Puma!
And if you're wondering why do I walk like a horse doing dressage, it's because I have muscular dystrophy. Anyone with muscular dystrophy in the room? Raise your hand if you can. To give you an idea of the effects on me, it's like my facial muscles are falling down, and so is my vagina. Like if I want to do a vajazzle, it would look like a chandelier. Bing, 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 bing. Keep that image in your mind. And every time you see a chandelier, you will think about me. You're very welcome. But, to be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure that the falling of my fufu, I call it fufu. Cute, innit? I love fufu. It reminds me of the 70s, nice and bushy. But, as I was saying, I'm not sure that the falling of it is actually related to my condition, right? Because, when you're young, you're naive. You don't know what's going to happen to you in 20 years' time, right? And those old bitches, they don't tell us. You think that your fufu is going to stay out there, nice and elastic. It's never going to move, smelling of fresh roses. They don't tell you that in 20 years' time it's going to fall down to your knees. And every time I go shower, I get a big round of applause.
Bertulis-Fernandes!
I was quite late to sex. I didn't even masturbate until I was 19. 19, and that was wild to me because I always knew that masturbation was a thing. Like I knew that men wanked. I'd been on public transport. I'm from London, and we have this anti-sexual harassment campaign on the tube, and it really annoys me because there's this one poster which goes, "If you see someone being sexually harassed, ask them questions to diffuse the situation." What? If I'm being sexually harassed, please don't ask me questions. I've got enough on my plate. Especially don't ask me the questions suggested by the sign, which are, what time is it? Sexual harassment time. What zone are we in? The danger zone. What's the next stop? Probably the stop where he gets off. Guys, I just think if you're going to ask anyone questions, you should ask the person doing the sexual harassment, right? And you should ask them useful things like, what's your name? What's your address? How long have you been in the police force? Yeah, I'm political.
Eva Bindeman!
Do you know I've got a fat fanny, sir? Do you know I've got a very fat fanny? Very fat fanny. I just thought I was a natural cyclist, but no. It's very fat, and it's not just fat. It's not just fat on the front, sir. It's fat down the sides. All right? Right down the sides. Have you ever been bowling with someone who's a bit shit and you've got to put up the bumpers? That's my fanny! It's literally got bumper rails, and some lads still can't find my clitoris. I thought, what am I going to do about this? What am I going to do about my fat fanny? And do you know there's exercises you can do? There's these things called Kegels, which is where you squeeze your fanny and you let it go. You've got to use your muscles. Apparently, using your hands is cheating. And we used to do weeks. Also, you can get this thing online that looks like a mini dildo, and you pop it up your fanny, and it Bluetooth connects to your phone. And you use the squeezes of your fanny to play games on your phone, which is amazing. I was about to get it, right, and it was going to be one for Grandma, one for Mum, one for me. We're all going to screen link to the telly to play Mario Kart. Fucking pow! My brother's going to be like, "You witches!" We're like, "Yeah, fucking." But you know the only game that they've linked it to so far, no word of a lie, the only game is Flappy Birds. That's what we're trying to avoid!
Start clapping and cheering for the very funny Alasdair Wallace!
So
yeah, I think I'd probably be like more manly. I'm willing to admit that. Right now, I'd put myself within like commuting distance of masculinity. You know, it's not where I want to be all the time, but it's definitely where the best paid jobs are. I was doing a job application the other day. I was on Indeed, and they didn't have the gender-neutral title I use, which is MX, mix. But they had other titles that like are gender-neutral, so they had doctor. They had reverend. I shit you not, they had admiral as an option. And first of all, I just think all three of those imply you already have a job. Second of all, and more importantly, I'm willing to accept that trans people are a minority in the UK. However, I do still reckon we outnumber the fucking Admiralty! I did the research. There are 34 of them. Every single one is old as balls. We could take them. On land.
Start clapping, start cheering, and welcome stage Fiona Ridgewell!
And the reason I went for a fertility test is because I'd been for a smear test and I thought nothing could be as bad as that. Because the doctor was in there, right, he had this little wand thing and he's sort of doing this. And I said to him, I was like, oh, is everything all right? Because I think at some point I would quite like to have children. And he peeped up and he went, but you've already had children. Gonna be honest, guys, I've been drunk, I've never lost 9 months. Like, I absolutely don't have children. I said to him, I was like, I don't know why that looks lived in. Why does it look like a 2 up, 2 down? Must be squatters, right? So I went for this fertility test, and same sort of thing. Doctor's in there, he's got this wand. Actually, according to the last one, he's sort of doing that, isn't he? Yeah, just in my wizard sleeve. And so he did that, and then he just went like this. That was the noise he made. Honestly, it turned my vagina into a wind tunnel. Like, he went, and it went. Not really, some of them are jokes. What actually happened is my stomach just started filling up with air. And I said to him, I was like, oh God, is everything all right? And he went, At that point, I was like, oh my God, is that the air coming back out? I was going to start flying around the room like a balloon, right? And he went, well, I'm not 100% sure, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm 90% sure that you might have 2 wombs. Thank you. That was my reaction, right? Because the thing is, like, I didn't know that was a thing, right? Guys, men in the room, if you can't relate to that, that's like you going for your prostate exam and then going, this finger, which arsehole would you like it in?
Keep up your clapping, keep up your cheering, and welcome to the stage, Julia Stenton!
And my heart does sink when a couple announces we've written our own vows. No, Julia, we've written our own vows. Okay, don't. Do the normal ones from Lord of the Rings or whatever. Like, to have and to hold in sickness and in health, 1 ring to rule them all. Do the normal ones. It's so smug, isn't it? We've written our own vows. Okay, I pierced my own ears in a disused quarry in 2004. Where's my ceremony? We've all done things we later regret. Because inevitably, when they say we've written our own vows, one of them will come out with this at the wedding. I'm so pleased. I finally get to marry my partner in crime. Die. Die. If you say that, you deserve to die. There is a circle of hell reserved for the people who use the phrase my partner in crime, and it's the same people who create Instagram accounts for their dogs. And every caption is as if the dog wrote it. Like, just taking my human for a walk. You're burning. You're all burning. My partner in crime. What crimes are these? What crimes are these you can't possibly commit on your own? Like, what, are you following him to the football, are you, Caitlin? You're going to beat the shit out of an Arsenal supporter, taking it in turns with his bit of pipe? Is that the crime? GBH, is that the crime?
Let's keep clapping, let's keep cheering. Welcome to St. Henry, Michael!
I think you'll agree the greatest challenge of being in your 30s is having to act enthusiastic about your friends' babies. Yeah. Do you feel that way? Yeah. When your friend's like, oh, isn't she amazing? Now she can hold objects and makes little noises. And you're like, so does my fridge. Yeah, I didn't ruin your wedding by bringing that, did I? So. It's also a really weird habit in my generation of giving kids really weird names, right? Really strange names, right? So it's generally this one kid at my girlfriend's school, where she works. Sorry. There's this one kid at my girlfriend's school called Hercules, right? Someone named their kid Hercules, all right? Yeah, just to make it very clear, this kid isn't Greek or a male escort. And I think it's mean. I think it's mean when you do that, because if you give a kid a weird name, they always end up being a bit weird. Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes when I pick up my girlfriend from her school, like, this kid's Hercules, he sort of stands in the playground and stares at me. Right, it's a bit weird. I remember this one time I went, and everyone else had left, and it was just me and this kid, right? There was this sort of weird, sort of awkward silence. And then he went, I can't talk to you, because the floor's lava, and you're in prison. Okay. I wasn't quite sure what I was expected to say back to that. But I remember once hearing someone say that you should just try and talk to kids the same way you talk to adults. So I said, what the fuck are you on about?
Please start clapping and cheering and welcome to stage Blank Peng!
Yeah, but there's one more thing really annoying me a little bit, because sometimes after show, people will ask me, like, what I will say in the Mandarin stand-up, because you all know the American humor or the British humor, but you never heard of the Chinese humor, right? Like, usually you cannot hear our voice because of the censorship, you know, right? But don't worry, because today, right now, right here, I am going to tell you a Chinese joke. Are you ready? Yeah! Okay, so speaking of the freedom of speech, we... So I want to end off my bit with a truly Chinese joke, okay? Like, I have to show you something really Chinese. Yeah, it's a very short joke, so please just concentrate on me, okay? So it goes, well, in China, you know, our president is really...
In third place, we have Fiona Ridgewell! In second place, we have Blank Peng! This year's winner at the Leicester Comedy Festival is Eva Bindeman!
I'm Eva Bindeman and I've just won the Leicester Mercury Comedian of the Year 2024. At the moment, finding out that I won I'm still in shock. But I'm sure in a couple of hours I'll be delighted. It was a really fun gig. It was really fun. I think everyone did really well, and the audience were just so generous and up for a laugh. So I had a lot of fun. I'm trying to tell my mum, but she's not answering the phone. She's who I'd want to tell first, but failing that, my brother's over there.